about their
I think
selections.
Josh is upset with me. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah,
but,
it's okay. Josh will get over it. Josh will get over
you're
it.
in Mexico, bro.
Yeah, you're not here.
Man,
yeah, you do your thing.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm Bobby Reynolds, joined here in the Sode Shack, Adam Markham. Adam, how you doing, buddy?
Doing wonderful.
Yeah.
Doing wonderful. It's best time of the year, you know.
Truly.
Yeah, I've already got some drafts fired up and rolling. That's been a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, ranking is it's been a grind. We've a lot of late nights here lately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got like 5 sets of ranks to juggle, but we're getting them tightened up, and I'm ready for this rookie season, man. It's been a fun start to it so far.
Yeah, Josh has asked me to put out a little 5-round rookie mock article, which is taking a little time. So I'm right there with you. Late nights, early mornings. But I will say, a buddy of mine the other day, we were talking, and he basically said, he was like, would you take rookie season or take the Rams in the Super Bowl? And I was like, dang. I mean, the Rams just won one, so I've already lived that life. I just love rookie season. Rookie drafting in the XFL, there's about nothing better. You got the 101, I've got the 102. We're going to have a fun time.
Oh yeah, it's what it's all about. It's why you play Dynasty.
Absolutely.
I think, you know, it's for that rookie draft.
Yep. Got them already going on this weekend. I've had a couple, got a couple more coming up here in the next week or two.
Just
So
got you a Jarquez Hunter share.
got a little Jarquez.
That was coming. I'm right behind you. I haven't made my pick yet.
Boo Bam hit me up and he was like, hey man, you're on the clock. And I was like, I know I'm on the clock. Here's Jarquez. I know you were 311, 312 sniffing Boo Bam, but that wasn't happening. Yeah. Jarquez was coming home.
Yeah, I probably would have taken him just to trade him back to you somehow.
I mean, I just traded Corum in main league because I just thought there's no way the Rams leave this draft without a running back at some point.
Good call.
Yeah,
good call.
I traded a lot. I'll give you a little quick who'd you get. I don't know. We probably didn't have that on the board anymore. Thanks, Josh. But I traded a lot in a Devy league. So shout out Nico. I had the 102, and there was already like Jeanty was gone, Judkins was gone. Like people drafted them a couple years ago in Devy. So it was clearly like Travis Hunter. I don't even know if Omarion was available, but I messaged the dude and I was like, look, I'm going to send you an offer real quick. I sent him the 102 and 2 firsts to move up to get T Hunt.
I mean,
in Devy.
That's fair.
You know,
that's a fair price.
I won the league last year.
I'm the wrong person to talk to, but I mean,
for sure.
We were just
gushing
to the moon for this guy.
Yeah.
So
it's just continuing to get worse. The more that this Twitter stuff comes out, he's in Jacksonville, you know, hanging out with all the guys like 24 hours after he's been drafted. I'm falling for all of it. I'm falling for everybody right now. I didn't even see the other day Jeanty wore Crocs to the draft. Did you see this?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Good vibes in this class. Like it a lot.
Absolutely. But welcome in tonight. Josh is not here. I don't know what he's doing. He's smuggling stuff from Mexico at this point. There is a search going on down there. So
Josh, he told us not to talk about it.
Yeah. So you're on your own if you can't get back. But welcome in. Me and Adam will hold the reins down here tonight. We are going to be doing a 3-round rookie mock.
This is a five-rounder.
5-round rookie mock.
Strap in.
Yeah, we're going to go the long haul for you. It is going to be full offense, full IDP, big 3 scoring. So pretty much big play. Your DNs are valued. Your D-backs are valued. Travis Hunter is going to be very valuable in a setup like this. So all the wizards, all the genies in the IDP show are in the dock with us tonight. Everybody that's drafting knows absolutely what they're doing, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Some real sharks in here tonight, Adam.
It's a good room. When you do,
let's run through it real quick.
Let's read off the order real fast. We got Mike Woellert in the 101 spot. We got our boy Aron, Evers, Aron, as some call him when he messes up.
Yeah.
Your boy's at the 103 spot. Josh is at the 104.
Yeah.
Jeff Boo Bam is at the 105. Professor IDP is at the 106. We got Eric Harms at the 107. We got Joey the Tooth at 108. We got Bellefeuil at the 109. We got Tripp at the 110. We got Bobo at the 111. And we got Jake the boy late round DB at the 112.
Woo-wee.
Probably
Man.
not going to be drafting a DB in this one.
It's a hot room. It's a hot room.
It's a good room.
As you've already seen, we have gotten started. The 101 and the 102 is off the board. Ashton Jeanty goes 1 to Woellert, and then to Oz there, Travis Hunter at 2. So, Adam, pretty status quo for, I feel like, most IDP leagues.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of chatter, I think, in the IDP show thread this weekend, a little bit about Hunter, and I've even seen a little bit about Cohen talking. He's going to play primarily offense to start, and I think I think it's just a package thing. I think it's a lot of knowledge to cram at an individual this fast. So you're most talented on offense. Let's get you offensively prepared, and then as the season goes on, as you learn a little bit more as needed, Travis will kind of moonlight you a little bit more at a defensive back. You think that's probably how it's going to be as well?
Yeah, I think so. Just kind of like, let's see how it goes. Let's see how this defense is. Let's see if we really need you.
Yep.
If they, if they're fine, they can manage without them, and the offense is just electric and doesn't really matter much. But I mean, when it comes to like big games and big opponents, yeah, I mean, you probably will see a lot more usage on both sides of the ball for Travis. So yeah, it's going to be a fun situation to monitor. This starts how it's been in every league that I've had so far. Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. 2,600 yards last year, 29 touchdowns on the ground for Ashton Jeanty. And, decent year reception wise, 23, 138 and a touchdown. But the year before, 1,347 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns, which would have been a fantastic final season there. But also had 43 receptions, 569, and 5 touchdowns the year before last. So Jeanty can do it all.
The difference in dynasty windows, I guess, is like you expect Jeanty to have like probably a 7 to 10 year career, whereas Hunter can have like a 10 to 13 type of NFL life.
For sure.
Those receivers just last a lot longer and they age a lot better.
Yep.
And I think Hunter's going to be that same type of guy. He's going to translate well as he ages too.
Mm-hmm. The only thing too, I think with Jeanty is that in a year or two, that offense could be really good.
Yeah.
You get that team a young quarterback, get that whole team situated a little bit better around Brock Bowers. You've got some offensive pieces there with, you got
Jacoby Myers.
Exactly.
They drafted our boy Jack Bech.
A little late too. I thought that was a nice little value for them.
Yeah,
but
I like him quite a bit.
But Pete Carroll is going to run Ashton Jeanty into the ground. He is going to run him so much this year.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get him in our league. But this is a good start here. I'm at the 103. For me, it's going to be Omarion.
Yeah,
Omarion Hampton. I just thought going to the Chargers was just a dream landing spot.
Yep.
They're going to, talk about run somebody into the ground. Like that's what they're going to do there with him, I think. So, you need a running back if you want to compete in Dynasty. And I think Omarion's going to be someone that's, a top 12 for us for the next, 6 to 7 years probably. So
I agree 100%. You need to go and look and see. There's a picture today on Twitter of Omarion at the facility with the Chargers shaking Harbaugh's hand, and Omarion is enormous. So I don't think you get cute with it. I think you go Omarion. Okay, so they're at 104. Josh takes Tet McMillian, which I think is pretty standard ADP right now. I think Tet, with an ascending Bryce Young, is probably the right pick to make there. Now at 105 and 106, a little bit of shakeup in my opinion. I want to see what you think here, Adam. But Travion Henderson goes to Jeff at the 105, and then Professor IDP takes Tyler Warren, Indianapolis Colts' new tight end, at the 106. What do you think about that? Is that, is that where you have him? It's higher than I will have him in my mock, I will say.
Yeah, he's around that range, right? Like I'm probably still going to hammer running back there.
That's kind of my thought.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's worthy of it. I think we could look up, this time next year and be like, oh man, he could have, you could talk about him being like the third best pick in this draft.
Yep, so I think so too. I don't know. It's just kind of weird with Colson Loveland. I'll be interested to see how far Colson falls here because
he'll go pretty high, I would think. Where are we at?
I
so
feel
far?
like most of the drafts that I've been in this weekend, Loveland has been ahead of Warren. So this is kind of the first little flip for me.
Yeah,
and
they go right next to each other usually, it seems.
And Loveland, the guys were talking on NFL Network quite a bit about how I think Saban said Loveland was the best pass catching tight end in the draft, which is pretty high praise coming from a guy like Saban. So worth paying attention to. Emeka Egbuka goes to Harms here at the 107. Quinshon Judkins falls all the way to the 108. And I say falls. I like him higher probably than most people. I think he deserves to be in that top 106 right after Travion. I'm probably going to be thinking about Quinshon Judkins a little bit.
I think it's just people are a little concerned about Dylan
Sampson.
The RBBC.
I get it. But if you can grab a guy like Judkins at the 108, absolutely.
You got to be happy there with that.
Do you like Judkins more than Burden and Matthew Golden?
Yes.
What about Egbuka?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But I like him quite. I like Egbuka quite a bit. I mean, he's gonna be buried there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think eventually, he's gonna. I mean, Mike Evans is like 32.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin is
aging,
torn his ACL a few times, I think.
Yeah, he's 2 short seasons here in the last 2 or 3. I feel like. I don't know. I'm not really. I don't know. That's interesting. I'm not really a Burden guy. Burden is just kind of.
I really don't like.
It's a mess.
I don't want to be in that range.
Yeah, it's a mess.
I don't like the back of the first. Mm-hmm. And even as I've been drafting, it's like, man, once you get into the third round too, it's like, yikes. Yeah. Not great.
Even with Matthew Golden, it's like they have so many wide receivers still.
I'd rather just take I'd prefer to have like a pick like in the early second. Just take whoever falls of those guys. You know what I mean?
And you don't feel like you have a first that you're just burning. It's like, I'll just take who's here in the second. And maybe there's a guy that like Loveland has still not been drafted. And here we are at the 111. It's my pick. I'm going to probably reach a little bit here, but it's because of what I saw on Twitter today. I'm going to draft Caleb Johnson. I cannot get over how much high praise Tomlin was talking about Caleb Johnson today and calling him just a high volume running back. And I don't think there's going to be anything that skews there in that Pittsburgh offense from them just running Caleb Johnson every single down. I mean, I like the guys that are there. They've got the guy from the Eagles a couple years ago, smaller guy from Memphis I really liked. Just kind of a third down.
Oh, Gainwell?
Gainwell is there. And then they also have Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
But Jalen Warren hasn't really proved that he, deserves to be there.
No, I think Caleb Johnson's an upgrade on him.
Absolutely. So I don't know. Maybe it's a spot where you take a guy like Loveland, but I don't know. I like Caleb Johnson a lot. There at the end of the first, Jake takes Abdul Carter. The IDP show is finally on the board there with the first IDP. What do you think about range-wise, Adam? Taking a guy like Abdul Carter over Colson Loveland, over Matthew Golden. And I'm not speaking about this in terms of necessarily things I like or dislike. I'm just talking about kind of ADP, where everybody is really at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, I think all those guys are like close, really. Yeah. I mean, Abdul Carter is going to be like a
stud, top flight
IDP asset at a really important position for, the next decade, I think.
Similar to Travis Hunter, time frame, 10 to 12 year career.
Yeah.
So let's just let's project a little bit, Adam. So let's just say Abdul Carter has a season like Jared Verse did. I hope he gets a few more sacks because Verse actually, only had 4 sacks on the season, but the pressure rate was really crazy. So this time next year, where could you realistically see the IDPshow.com, go to Adam's Ranks, where could you realistically see a guy like Abdul Carter fitting in next year?
Oh man, if he has if he puts up between 5 to 8 sacks, but also is killing it like PFF wise, like pressure rates, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Win rate's great. He'll be top 5, man. He'll be right up in there he'll probably be ahead of like Nick Bosa, Max Crosby, just because he's got like 5 years on those guys, know. So he'll be up there. He'll be top 5, I'd say, if he has a good start to his career year 1.
Aiden Hutchinson sneaking back up there a little bit.
He'll be back up there as well.
He's edge 3 right now. Jared Verse edge 4. But I agree with you. I think a healthy season for Abdul Carter, which hopefully that foot thing I forget what it's called. Just Josh fussed at me for calling it
stress something.
Yeah.
Careful, stress something.
We're all stressed a little bit,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
You got to feel it in your
tough.
feet. Yeah.
It's tough times.
Life is rough. Okay, so
We do have some people that are talking about their picks in here if we want to read
yeah,
these
please.
comments.
That'd be great.
So Josh went Ted at 4. He said there's a pretty clear top 4 in this class, in my opinion. I was going to take whoever was left over of Hampton and McMillian.
Yep.
Our boy Boo Bam said, I love me some Trey Henderson. Great pass blocking will keep him on the field and showed he can be very productive splitting a backfield in college. We'll be getting majority of the work come Sundays in New England. Eric Harms went for the wide receiver in Egbuka over some running backs for the longevity. With first-round capital, he should replace McMillian right away and step into a bigger role when Evan retires. Yeah, that's a good point. McMillian lost a lot of value.
Sure did.
With this pick. Our boy Tripp out of Football Guys. I like the draft capital and immediate opportunity in Denver for RJ Harvey.
Yeah, that's one I don't know if I papered over that one or not. That's probably ADP-wise a little bit of a reach.
Yeah, but you can see like that momentum starting to build.
Agreed.
And you're seeing the tweets getting circulated about every running back that Sean Payton's drafted, like, you know, at
Going crazy.
second round and earlier. And the track record's good for that. So, yeah, I like him. He was someone we liked pre-draft. You know, the problem with RJ Harvey is in Dynasty is just he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
And you wonder, like, is that why he was, you know, so successful? Because this dude is like, what, 22, 23?
Yeah, he might even be older than that.
He's up there in age.
Yeah.
I remember that standing out about him. But yes, he was someone that we liked. I mean, we had him as a, you know, like a top 8 running back pre-draft.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he got probably a little bit better draft capital than expected. I don't think a lot of people expected him to go before Caleb Johnson.
Wow, dude. RJ Harvey's 24 years old.
Yeah, so I mean, that's something you got to think about. You know, like you got maybe 5 to 6 years with him.
Yeah.
If it goes well. You know,
Yeah.
hopefully it's not like a Keyshawn Vaughn type situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like that pick. I mean,
I do too.
You trust Sean Payton, I think, and
Darren Sproles, Alvin Kamara.
yes, it's a rich history of fun running backs, especially for fantasy. So
Okay, before your
and
pick,
that team's good, man.
Oh,
Denver's
yeah.
good, and they're trending up, and
yeah, give Bo Nix some weapons.
yeah, I like it.
All right, Joey the Tooth. He said I went Judkins because the Browns obviously like him, and the early second round pick having to battle just Jerome Ford and fellow rookie Dylan Sampson for carries could be run heavy team with little to no QB play. I don't disagree. Our boy Oz. It is really gross, really quickly with both Johnson and Carter going in the 2 and the 3 picks ahead of me. Even in non-tight end premium, give me the guy in Ben Johnson's offense who just got top 10 draft capital. I don't know. I'm on the fence about Burden.
He scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I took him at the 204 in a 14 teamer. I was very happy to get him there.
So Kyle B is speaking to that. Luther Burden will likely require some patience, but he is excellent after the catch and enters a Chicago offense that could be fun for fantasy. Patience could pay off nicely if you're willing. And then Jakey Boy, with the best offensive talent spoken for, Carter was the clear choice. Even if he is rotational year 1 with Thibs and Burns, he is likely a full go year 2 and should push for high-end DL2 already by the end of year 2. Love that, Jakey. All right, Addy. So at the top of the second here, let me get back into the draft board. Jaden Higgins goes to Woellert at the 201, and then Colson Loveland, a pretty far fall for a highly drafted tight end in the NFL draft. I can't remember. He was top end of the first. Colson Loveland there to Chicago gets drafted by our boy Oz at the 202. So the Loveland fall finally ends. Addy, 203, what are you thinking here?
203, I think I'm going to go chalk. I'm going to go with a boy that I was excited about early on, Matthew Golden.
I love that.
You know, good draft capital. I don't know that I know there was buzz about him getting
First round.
That, yeah, right. But I feel like that was one of those things that no one was really wanting to believe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think he lands in a great spot, a room that isn't really that good. You know, I think there's in fantasy circles, some people like Wicks
and Jaden Reed
and Romeo.
Yeah,
Dubes is like a concussion away from
pretty done.
Yeah,
Christian Watson's hamstrings can't cooperate.
Yeah,
so you're right.
He might not play next year, right?
No. Matthew Golden could be one that's like falling right now that could have some real relevancy this season.
Like
you might not have to be that patient with Matthew Golden.
Yeah, no, I think he might be ready year one, and I mean he might already be wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 for him.
It could be one of those things where like in camp you hear them talking about Matthew Golden is going to be playing sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's Golden and Reed, and
yep,
yeah, they are the clear 2 best receivers.
Yep, I agree.
But both those guys a little bit on the smaller side. It will be interesting to see like that offense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean Jordan Love. I mean I think that the book's not written on him yet. I think that he's someone that I've been kind of concerned about. So
yeah,
hopefully he can
had that big rookie season.
Yeah, like a half of a year he was like electric.
Not really rookie, I guess.
Yeah,
whatever
one of
that
those
first
years.
season is he played. Speaking of quarterbacks, Josh takes Cam Ward at the 204. So in one quarterback IDP rookie draft, the first quarterback goes there at the 204. So the Titans' new director of the offense, Trey Harris, goes to Jeff at the 205. Jihad Campbell, the first linebacker, comes off the board to Professor IDP at the 206. I love that little run. I don't know about Cam Ward. You can decide for yourself.
What do you think? You think are you taking Cam Ward at that spot?
Probably not.
It could look good though. I mean, it could. It's like where Jaden Daniels was going last year, and there were so many people that were on the fence about him, and that looks like that's a smash at this point.
Absolutely.
So it could be the same type of thing, but the problem is like, man, there's just not any talent in Tennessee right now.
It's Calvin Ridley, Traylon Burks. They drafted Alec Maynor a little bit later on. The running game is not going to be great this year, so it's going to be a long season if you're a Titans fan.
Yeah.
Speaking of, is their new arena going to be done? Their new stadium?
I don't know.
It's
excited
getting
for that to be ready.
Big old mess.
That'd be a good time.
I love the Trey Harris pick. I will say, Jeff, that's a solid selection there at 205 because to me it's not really going to be that much longer of an experiment for the guy who can't catch.
Oh, Quentin Johnston.
That experiment's almost over. Josh Palmer was shipped out in free agency.
This will be year 3 for him, right?
Yes. So
they brought back Mike Williams, but he's old,
pretty done
at this point.
It's just Ladd and Trey Harris, and Trey Harris has some really elite traits. And I think if Trey Harris had not, I think he pulled a groin in November. If he had not pulled that groin and stayed healthy, Trey Harris in the first would have been a heavy conversation for sure.
Mr. Spreadsheet breaker, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Like a 5 yards per out run or something like that.
Yes, it was insane. Yeah. He just kind of like Jeanty, just outpacing everybody in all the graphs. A bit of an overachiever there. But yeah, let's talk real quick. We'll kind of talk about Bech real quick at the 207, but then I want to go back to Jihad Campbell. Bech has got a real opportunity there in Vegas to be the wide receiver 1 because Jacoby Myers is fine. Brock Bowers is going to be their best pass catcher, but Bech is going to have a real opportunity to walk into that room and to be their wide receiver 1. But then, let's get to Jihad Campbell. You agree? You kind of liked the Abdul Carter landing spot there for Jake at the end of the first there at the 112. Do you agree with Professor IDP taking Campbell here at the 206?
I think it's fine. That's fair.
That feels accurate.
Now, I think the question after the draft now is, do you want Jihad or do you want Schwesinger?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because Schwesinger's just going to soak up the tackles, man.
Yeah.
And the Capitol was like him getting that early, like what first
201.
First pick of the second round. Like that was we were talking about like, oh boy, we're after the first round recap, we were like a little worried, like, oh God, we're afraid he could be like a 3rd round pick or something. But to see him drafted immediately that second day, huge for his stock. And I think that he's in conversation for that pick too.
Yep.
At 206. So I don't hate it at all. I mean, Jihad Campbell, if he lives up to the hype, he's going to be a linebacker we're talking about on the show for a long time. So
I agree. Campbell is just kind of a freak. If you're in big 3 scoring leagues, I probably weigh Campbell more just because of the big play upside, the sack upside.
Right.
I feel like from
TFLs.
A scoring perspective, he is going to be better points per game wise. But
I think the hope for him though is like that he's more of a Darius Leonard than like a Micah Parsons, like because we want those tackles along with the sacks and big plays and TFLs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like remember Shaq Leonard's like first year.
Oh, electric.
Like that could be the type of player. I hope that, I hope we get to see him more off ball. I don't know how he's going to be used there in Philly.
Yeah. I don't think Philly knows how he's going to be used yet.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those, like, although like draft night, I did say to you when we were watching, like, good God, he looks huge. Dude. Yeah. He looks like a defensive end.
Yep. He does not look like a linebacker.
We'll see. But yeah, I think this is fair. 206, that's fine. That's a fine range for him, for Schwesinger.
And honestly, like, they don't really have that many great defensive ends right now. I really like what I saw at the end of the season from Nolan Smith.
Right.
But, Jalix Hunt, what do you really have with him? They brought in a couple guys in free agency. So Bryce Huff is still there, right?
Bryce Huff is still there. Yeah, he was a massive bust.
Regression.
He'll be cut after this year.
Yeah.
And then, they lost Brandon Graham. They lost Josh Sweat.
Yep. So pretty much like you're going to have an open door. If you can show some pass rush upside, Jahad Campbell would fit better on the edge there, honestly. That's going to be fun. And, the other thing, too, about the mid-second, Trey Harris is cool. Bech is cool. Joey the Tooth here took Cam Skattebo. Not all these guys in the second are going to work out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a, you're going to look up in a couple years and you're going to be glad that you took the Abdul Carters and the Jihad Campbells. But anyways, the 208, Cam Skattebo to Joey. Carson Schwesinger comes off the board there at the 209. Mason Taylor, tight end for the New York Jets, goes there at the 210. And then I have the 211 selection. So, Addy, you want to talk real quick about Schwesinger there at 209? We've already kind of talked about him a little bit. Anything else you want to say before I make my selection?
Yeah, I just think, it's a recipe for IDP goodness with him landing there in Cleveland. Also, him going that high, it's great for Dynasty. Like, I think he's someone that is already, should already be considered as like a top 15 linebacker in Dynasty.
Yep.
There's just not a lot of linebackers these days that get that type of capital. And so when they do, but also like they have the potential to score points and record tackles the way that Schwesinger does. Mm-hmm. It matters a lot, and I'll rank him accordingly.
Okay, so I'm going to make a weird selection here, and it may be a reach as far as ADP is concerned. But at the 211, I'm going to go Kyle Williams, wide receiver for New England, a guy that I just love. If you watch tape, you like people that can separate. Kyle Williams is a wide receiver that you're going to enjoy. So Kyle Williams at the 211, Jalen Noel there at the 212, and then here we are back to the top of the third. Let me look back here and see if there are any comments. There absolutely are. Josh here said that it was between the Cams for me. Not pumped about Ward's outlook, but he is going to be a starter, so that's right. Jeff said with Ward and Golden going right before this pick, I considered Schwesinger, but opted for Harris as he is going to be everything the Chargers wanted Quentin Johnson to be, minus all the drops. Ladd doing the underneath stuff and Harris down the field in the red zone. I agree with that, Boo Bam, 1,000%. I think there's a world where if we do this in a year, Harris could be a guy that we should have redrafted in the first round. Harm said, I think Bech ends up second in targets on the Raiders as soon as this year. I considered Skattebo, but decided to go with wide receiver again over the timeshare running back. So I agree. I think Bech could be a great second-round wide receiver also. And then Joey the Tooth said, Bech was my guy, so I shifted to another high-profile, highly productive RB. Skattebo only needs to beat out Singletary and Tracy for meaningful snaps. Damn you, Eric Harms. And then Eric Harms said, love the Kyle Williams pick, Baba. I don't know whether that's just him kissing up a little bit, or just
Hey guys,
him just being typical Eric.
somebody call 911. I don't feel so good.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust it. He's got some type of angle.
Yeah, something's going on there. I don't trust it either. Okay, so top of the third, big surprise here. Woellert goes defensive lineman Donovan Ezeiruaku.
Wow, Mike's guy.
There at the 301. You an Ezeiruaku guy?
I'm fine with him. But I'm not gonna take him that early. Mm-hmm. There's just so many edge rushers in his range, right? He may end up being the best out of the bunch, but I'll just take whoever I can get in the fourth or fifth that's going to fall,
Yep.
Because one of them's going to fall. Probably not in this draft, just because you got to remember, folks, this is
correct. Pretty sharky.
The entire room does IDP content, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But I think in most leagues you're going to be able to like these edge rushers. A handful of them are going to slip to the 4th, 5th round. Like I bet you'll be able to get like Mike Green probably in the 4th or 5th. You know?
James Pearce.
Yeah,
A lot of these guys.
Exactly.
A lot of the guys we like. So maybe a little bit of a reach as far as ADP is concerned, but
planting his flag.
Yep.
I am proud to announce that Fast Draft now has an all-defense game called D-Up. That's right, fans of IDP finally have a real money best ball game that they can play. No more manually setting up leagues every time you want to do a draft. No. Now you can play for 10 grand, 2,000 to first. Could draft up to 30 teams, all defense. And the best part, balanced scoring, tackles for loss, pass breakups. It all factors in. Just draft 6 defensive players, top 4 into your lineup every week. It's that easy. It's so easy that this isn't just for IDP people. If you love the NFL, then you'll love this game. And for the first time with Fast Draft, you can sweat both sides of the ball on Sunday. So use your host promo code to get a $25 deposit match, and you'll love this D-Up contest because it's about time we got one.
Get your guy.
Aron here at 302 goes Nick Emmanwori, so the first defensive back comes off the board. I wish Emmanwori's draft capital had been a little higher than it was. It didn't seem like there was as much confidence in Emmanwori as maybe we had pre-draft.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot though.
Okay.
I think you got to be. I think
Defensive back Seattle.
Yeah, and it's just Julian Love back there with them. Linebackers, I mean, it's not really figured out yet. So, I mean, I think that he'll play a decent amount of box snaps. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he got the capital he did. I was afraid, it would be like late second or that's the fear. But with him still being like, what was he, like the 10th pick of the second round?
Not too far.
Not too bad.
What if he had gone in the first?
Oh yeah, I mean,
he needed to be in that Schwesinger range.
He'd be going around there. He'd be like in the late second. Okay. But I mean, I think it's good.
Safer.
It's good for us, us drafters, because you can get him like in the early third, and I feel good about that. I feel very good. Like he's like a safety that's going to give us, I think, a good amount of like between 12 to 14 points per game season. So that's all you're looking for in a safety. That's like ideal. That's what you want.
And in the third here, it kind of protects us from ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't really want to be drafting a defensive back in the second.
Right.
We don't want to miss out on some of this offensive talent.
And now we're kind of in the range.
Yeah.
And especially in like one quarterback, like, man, it starts getting
pretty nasty.
Yeah. It's not, I don't feel great about a lot of these guys.
Yeah. At the turn of the end of the second feels like, and we're gross.
Yeah, I feel like early on in this process, we were talking about how deep this class is and how much we like this class.
Yeah.
But now that we've actually got landing spots, and so many of those running backs that were sexy, like got picked like 6th round later.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, the middle of this draft is not great now. So you think you will see a lot of IDPs going in this range now.
Yeah. Okay, Addy, 303. What are you thinking here?
Man, do I just go with our boy Tuten? I think it's a good spot for him here.
He was in consideration for me at the 211. I will say that.
I mean, Etienne is gonna
one more year.
Gone.
Yeah.
He's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
And Tank Bigsby, who cares?
Yeah, he's just volume guy.
This is another guy who I'm pretty sure was like a spreadsheet warrior.
Tuten's RAS was pretty crazy.
So all the stuff you look for, pretty sure he was highly productive, but lands in a good spot. Lands in a really good offense. It could a potentially great offense, once T Hunter and the gang all get to clicking.
Agreed. That's a good point.
So yeah, I mean, and this guy can catch balls too. So I mean, this could be absurd. This could be the next Bucky Irvin.
929 RAS out of Virginia Tech. You would have loved to seen him gone in the third. The 4th round is kind of like, what a bummer.
Second pick of the 4th round, right?
Correct. Right at the top.
We'll take it. Or maybe that was Cam.
You're right. You're right. It was a 402. Cam Skattebo went right after him at the 403.
All right. I'm okay with that, though.
I'm in the sheets.
Especially knowing that this is a deep class. So I think you got to expect that some of those guys are going to fall a little bit, So I think going in the 4th round in this class, a running back strong class, not the worst thing.
Yep.
Still going to get – these guys are still going to get opportunity.
Mm-hmm. I love that. No, I think in a lot of drafts, Tuten is not – falling this far. Let's see what people have said here. So Aron says elite talent is drying up in this draft quicker than spilled liquids at a mid-2000s ShamWow commercial. That was decent. I don't know. That was like a C+ probably. Emmanwori had the best combine of any DB ever. No hyperbole. A perfect 10 RAS. Freak in Mike McDonald's defense. Let's go Legion of Boom 2.0. Woellert said he'll take the best edge rusher in the class in the third. Yeah. We'll put an asterisk by that. We'll give it some time.
Yeah, calm down, Mike.
Yeah,
calm down.
Let's chill out a little bit.
Don't do that, Mike.
I like the Byshaw too. And I knew this through Joshy for a loop because he's been taking long to take his selection. So I know he had Byshaw queued up there. So instead of taking Byshaw, Josh takes Terrence Ferguson, tight end for the Rams.
He was someone I was considering there too. Yeah. What do you think about him? Are you excited about? I liked him, pre-draft. I mean, this is here
in the third. You could make a worse pick,
and I think his draft capital was pretty surprising. Decent. I mean, it was like mid-second. So,
yeah, I can't look. Yep, right in the middle of the second, 214.
Higher than I thought it would be. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that also that room is not good at all. They certainly don't have anyone with that high of draft capital invested in there.
All those guys are gone. I can't remember Davis Allen. I think he's gone.
Who cares?
Yeah. Higbee's been pretty hurt and getting pretty older at this point.
And also think about I like that those guys that we're mentioning, they're not anything special, but they've had moments, in that offense because of McVay. And so this guy's actually talented.
McVay takes a selection in any round. It's a little light bulb goes off. I need to remember this guy for later on. That'll prelude probably my pick here at the end of the third round.
Could have done it with Puka Nacua. Could have done it with Kyron Williams. Yep. At this point, it's all right.
Yeah. All right. Who are you?
I'll take you, Ferguson.
I don't care.
Find out.
I don't care who you take, McVay. We're gonna draft with you.
Exactly.
So Jeff takes at the 305 Michael Williams. James Pearce goes here at the 306. Elijah Arroyo goes here to Harms. That was probably really Southern. I probably butchered his name. I'm sorry, Elijah. And then Demetrius Knight goes, the linebacker for Cincinnati, to Joey the Tooth at the 308. So what do you think about those four picks right there, Adam? Michael Williams, James Pearce. Let's talk about those two real quick. A little too high?
What was it? Michael Williams was 30 what?
305, James Pearce 306.
I think it's a little too high for Michael Williams. I know Michael Williams was the second edge rusher in the actual draft, but I don't know that the way he produces is gonna really get us that excited in IDP. I like him. I think he's gonna be a fine edge 2, edge 3 type.
Yeah.
But I see him more as a 50 to 60 tackles, 6 to 8 sacks, which is solid and good.
Yeah.
But it's
in the NFL, it's you're happy with it. In IDP, we're kind of bummed.
Every roster has that for the most part,
Yeah, I think these guys are going to take some time too. This is nothing that's going to be a plug and play immediately.
But now with Pearce, in that range, I don't mind it because I think Pearce is the type of guy that we could see have 13, 14 sacks in a single season.
Yeah, he could go off.
Won't be as much of a tackler, but it's I don't really care that much about.
Just give me some sacks. Yeah, James Pearce is the wild card in this draft. You could be looking here at the 306 and you've absolutely just maybe made the best IDP pick of the draft, or you could be left holding the bag and then you just wasted a 306.
Yeah, I think there's a world where James Pearce could be looked at as on this similar level to Abdul Carter in a couple years.
Yeah,
he just fell just because of the character concerns type stuff. Because I thought his tape was
awesome,
super impressive.
Awesome.
And then the metrics for him were great.
Yep.
It's
just the attitude.
That was it with him.
Yeah.
But we saw, he still get first round capital. A team traded a boatload to go get him.
A lot.
So they're invested. So hopefully they do everything they can to, make sure that he's in a good situation.
Yeah, in hindsight,
surrounded by good folks.
McVay busted Raheem Morris completely over the head with that little pick for.
But that is,
all that draft.
Speaking of him, that's a good situation, I think, for these
Raheem
guys.
Morris.
You think Atlanta, you're oh boy, kind of dysfunctional, but I think Raheem Morris can
channel it.
Yeah, I think he can get those guys in line.
I don't disagree. That's a good call, Addy. I forget Morris is his coach there.
Yep.
Real quick before I take my pick, Josh said here another tier break was torn between Arroyo and Ferguson. Ultimately went Fergie, because of the 2025 appeal with Stafford and McVay, like we talked about. Harms said he would have taken Ferguson too. Nobody cares, Harms. Jeff said a lot of hopium with players right now. I'll go with a guy playing opposite, one of the best in the league with a DC who has shown he can get the best out of his players. Top 11 draft capital doesn't hurt either. That's with Michael Williams. The Tooth, Joey here said after the Bengals used a day 2 pick and early third on an LB, it seemed that Pratt's trade request will be allowed. This potential opens up the door for one of the rookies to start alongside Logan Wilson. My money is on Knight, my pre-draft LB3. That's in regards to Demetrius Knight going there at the 308. And then the 309 goes to Kyle Bellefeuil. That was Dylan Sampson. And then another defensive lineman in Mason Graham, defensive lineman for the Cleveland Browns, goes there at the 310. So I'm going to make my selection very quickly. It probably is not going to be very difficult
I can do it for you. I can
figure out.
You want me to announce it?
You can.
Bob will be selecting with the 309 or 311. Sorry. Oh, 311.
311.
Do the amber drop.
I don't know if we have the amber drop.
Jarquez Hunter.
Yes, you are accurate. Jarquez Hunter goes to me at the 311. I'm absolutely stoked. I want to read a tweet real quick. Don't know this guy from Adam. Pretty good one. Wyatt Miller, somebody on Twitter. New Rams running back Jarquez Hunter had the second highest explosive rush rate of 10-plus yards among FBS backs with 150 carries in 2024. That skill set will be a welcome addition to the Rams backfield that had the 4th fewest explosive rushes in the NFL last season. I think I saw something the other day that Kyron Williams only had one run last season of 20-plus yards, I believe it was.
I saw something too. There was he was one of the worst in yards created, something like that. So
your Kyron window's running out. The other thing is, Homeboy's been asking for quite a bit of money, and after the Todd Gurley situation the Rams got themselves into, I think they're going to be letting Kyron walk on down the road.
Yeah,
so
good luck to you, brother.
Your Kyron window is closing. Anything else here, Addy? Let's. I'm going to put this on you. This is going to be really, really hard for you before I read some of these names. But as we get through the third round, something we talked about doing, give me 2 or 3 IDP names that instead of drafting at the 309, some elite, some older, some veteran IDPs that you would have gone and just said, look, I'll give you the 309, trade me whoever.
I think can I go get Blake Cashman?
Wow.
Can I get Blake Cashman with the 309 if I'm contending?
Probably easy.
Probably pretty easy.
Yep.
And I think Cashman, if you look at points per game, Cashman was a top 10 option last season.
Okay.
When healthy, I think he got better as the season wore on. I think he's an actual good linebacker. And so I think he's going to be someone that, we're talking about on the show for the next 2-3 years and talking about him as a top 20 option for you every week.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, if I'm in a spot where I need a linebacker, which everyone's
always,
you always need a linebacker, man. You can never have enough of those.
Okay.
That would be one.
What about a D lineman? You got a D lineman off the top of your head that we could go get?
Can I go get Jonathan Grenard?
Ooh.
Yeah. Can I go get Andrew Van Ginkel?
Ooh. Everybody's going to start thinking Dallas Turner's going to start taking everybody's snaps up there.
Can I get Dallas Turner too? I want to try that as well. Can I potentially maybe James Pearce is on the board and someone likes James Pearce more than most folks. Could I get Turner? I want to be
early third for Turner.
Yeah.
304.
I'll try. Yeah.
Do that in a heartbeat.
I'll start there, but if
somebody's hot in the pants for James Pearce.
It's one of those deals where it's if I notice the board's a certain way.
Yeah.
I'm on the clock. I have the 308 and then someone that I know has an interest in, James Pearce.
I like that.
Guys like that, I think Quincy Williams, someone I think that the perception of him is down a little bit, but I think he's still very good. I'm fine, paying whatever for him, paying a third, a late third for him.
Sure. I'm trying to think of some more names right now that you could maybe go and get.
But you could even potentially get maybe some of these guys for an early fourth. That's how this time of year goes. There will be people that get really excited about some of these. Sometimes it works out for you, but most often not. But there will be people that get really excited and will be willing to trade away, assets like Quincy Williams and Blake Cashman for maybe just a fourth. So I mean, you need to exhaust all options. Like give it a try. You never know if you don't try, you won't know. So
shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot.
What's Jalen Phillips worth right now?
Not much, in my opinion.
You've got him right now as a fourth rounder. Would you move a fourth this year going into this fourth? No,
no chance.
You're going to just take a draft pick.
Yeah, I'll just try and I'll try and take someone that doesn't have a torn Achilles and a torn ACL, and I hate it for him. But man, he came into the league with questions about health and stuff, and
the health is showing up.
Not been good for him, unfortunately.
So another pretty interesting name is Schwesinger, because I kind of keep forgetting that JOK is going to be out for a while. You know what I mean? JOK is pretty injured.
JOK may not come back, right? I mean, it was that serious, that hit he took with I think it was a neck injury he has. So, yeah, I remember Josh talking. I didn't realize how serious it was when it happened, but yeah, there's a chance that like JOK may not ever get cleared to play again. Now, I did see where he's back in the building.
Yeah.
So I think that's a encouraging sign that he's at least, going to try and make it work, it seems.
I actually asked you the wrong name. I was thinking more about Peyton Wilson. What's Peyton Wilson worth in here? Could you go get Peyton Wilson mid-draft?
So I feel like the linebackers in the range, like after those top two linebackers, Jihad and Schwesinger, they're going to go in the second round for the most part.
Yeah.
And then after that, it gets dicey in this draft. You can go Demetrius Knight.
Mm-hmm.
He got I think
Nick Martin.
Surprisingly good capital. Second round to Cincinnati, but he's old. He's 25 already.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick Martin's the other one. I think that's a good candidate. Third round capital went to San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
That's the depth chart that's not
Juicy.
scary at all now. Now that Greenlaw's out the building, and then it's a bunch of like fifth and sixth rounders behind him.
Bunch of dart throws after that.
So he's got, and that dude knows how to fill up a stat sheet. Like he was injured last season, but like when he was out there, he was balling.
Yep.
Filling it up. Knows how to tackle, like a 14% career tackle rate for Nick Martin. So those are interesting. I like those guys a lot. But do I like those guys more than Peyton Wilson? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Not yet, but I mean,
they haven't cut Pat Queen yet,
but they're not that far out of range, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
pretty similar.
Yeah, I think they're all kind of like, I think they're all going to be like, when I rank all these guys, like they'll be around Peyton Wilson.
Schwesinger's worth more than Peyton Wilson, probably.
Oh, for sure.
Second round draft capital, doesn't have all the injury concerns really. I think if you could trade a third for Peyton Wilson, I probably would. I'd be kind of interested, like late third. If you're kind of on the fence about somebody, I don't know. I'm willing to throw a dart on a guy like Peyton Wilson.
Oh, another one.
I think he's a guy you could make profit on. All of a sudden he pops off, and I'm probably trading him. I'm probably trying to trade him high and get a second next year's draft or something. I don't know that Peyton Wilson's a guy that I really want to ride his career out.
Yeah.
Because he kind of seems like our boy Jalen came into the, what was it? Peyton Wilson had 10 surgeries his 4 years in college.
He's got all of them. Every injury that there is, he's had.
But he's still such a freak that
I know. I still want to see what he can do with the full-time role, like what type of stats he could put up. Like I do want to kind of hang on for that. That's when I really want to sell. I don't. We haven't seen it yet, so I want to like get.
Let it pop.
Half a season of him doing that, and then maybe you can get into the like, I'll give you a first for this guy.
Yeah,
right? You
could get in that range for sure.
If he's productive enough.
Mid-season, he's going off. Pat Queen's out of the way.
Another guy, I think that it would be smart to maybe throw a early fourth round for is Ivan Pace Jr.
Absolutely.
He probably will still be up and down as far as like snap share goes this season, but. This is the last year of his deal because he was a UFA. Those are only 3-year deals for the most part.
Yeah.
And so there's a chance that he could go somewhere else and be like, we could see him get like a 3-year, $30 million, deal in free agency and be someone's LB1 and just putting up crazy number. So that's someone that I'm still very much in on. He's like a stash, like a Leo Chenal.
Leo Chenal,
right?
Yeah. Right in that perfect little like last year contract, could be going somewhere else.
Those are like next stop stashes, right?
Kind of like right before not Aziz Ojolari, but Aziz Alshier went to the Titans.
Same thing.
Yep.
Blake Cashman would have been another one of those examples. You know what I mean? So I mean, yes, right before they really blow up, which I think that's Ivan Pace has a chance to really blow up at his next stop.
We need to highlight or put something in the spreadsheets to where it's like final year of contract.
Yeah.
That might be good for you to do. And like you don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, for sure. I'll add it to the list.
Into the third here, our boy Jake Kohlhagen goes with Nick Scourton, defensive lineman there for Carolina. Woellert goes to the linebacker well with Nick Martin there at the 401. And then Jalen Walker goes to Aron at the 402. Adam, you are up real quick. I'll let you kind of look around for just a minute, but I'm going to talk about a couple of these picks. Woellert said third-round capital for Martin and a clear path to snaps with no Greenlaw. LB is ahead of him. The only thing that brought down Martin's RAS was his height, 26 bench reps, and a 4.53 40. Dude is a heat seeker and can play ball. I'm not completely dug. I don't know. He's talking about something else. Never mind. And then Aron was talking about Walker fell on draft night into Atlanta's lap after being mocked as high as Carolina at 8. I'll stop his slide here as he goes almost an entire round after the guy that Atlanta didn't want as much as him in Pearce. So a couple good little draft spots there. Adam, the 303 goes Harold Fannin. Thank God that boy had fallen far enough. The pass catching leader, I think as far as yards were concerned, last year in
maybe
all
ever,
of
maybe
FBS.
ever. I mean,
I don't know about ever.
It got to be in the range though. He's got to be on the
1,600.
list.
Maybe it's close, but I know he led all of FBS last year. Harold Fannin. Don't worry about Njoku. Njoku will probably be gone.
Honestly, I looked up his contract today.
Getting close.
Expires after this year.
Harold Fannin feels like a gift in the fourth.
Yeah, dude. Like
there's a point.
We decided we don't like him anymore.
There's a point in my head sometimes where I think, should you like Harold Fannin just as much as Loveland and Warren?
We were there.
Yeah.
We were there early on. Everyone was there early on.
Yeah. I think there's a world where he comes in and smashes and we all are made to look a fool.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the most fluid guy, I guess, when you really get to breaking down the film, but like he knows how to get open.
Yep.
And also like he's just like he's proven he knows how to catch the ball, get yards after the catch. Like I understand that he may not be like an elite athlete, but you don't always have to be that. Like, we see tons of Jonnu Smith. He reminds me a lot of like Jonnu Smith type,
7'8" RAS, almost 6'4", 241. He got the beginning of the third draft capital. Dude, sign me up. Harold Fannin, maybe my favorite pick of the night. You're welcome.
I'm crushing this draft, by the way.
404 here.
Just lighten it up.
Josh goes Jaden Blue. The second quarterback off the board goes to Jeff with Jackson Dart. And then another really good pick. Professor IDP goes Jalen Royals, the wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, was drafted there after 3 years playing at Utah State. He had 126 catches for 1,914 yards and 21 touchdowns over 20 games. Royals is a guy that I'm kind of interested in to throw a little dart on late in drafts.
Yeah, I like Royals quite a bit.
Royals feels like a guy we would like.
Yeah, he's
feels like our type.
Yeah, he's someone that like also going to Kansas City, like that's really, really nice.
There's not much there.
No.
Hollywood Brown is past his prime. Juju, whatever. Kelsey is regressing.
It's Worthy and it's Rasheed Rice, and
and even with them,
right? Who knows?
How are they going to be on the field?
Xavier Worthy strikes me as someone that could, struggle with health as we see his career unfold. Rasheed Rice, who knows?
Yeah.
He also had the incident where he ran away from the cops.
That's true.
Seen him in an accident, so that's not great.
Forgot about that.
Hopefully, no more of that type stuff. But.
Okay, so some more big picks here in the fourth go. Mike Green goes to Harms at the 407, and then Shamar Stewart, defensive lineman for Cincinnati, goes to Joey the Tooth at the 408. So probably some guys that are being elevated a little bit, maybe higher than we would feel comfortable drafting them.
But you like that much better than you like the Ezeiruaku at 301, right?
Yeah, Ezeiruaku was a reach a little bit. Michael Williams, I'm going to want to let fall to me. Mm-hmm. Now, you're right. You're swaying me a little bit more that Pearce is a guy that I don't mind drafting at ADP. I don't really want to reach for him, but if he's there late third, maybe early fourth, I don't want him in the third. Probably in the fourth, Pearce feels like a good pick.
I really feel like this year, and I'm normally a type of player that I'll sprinkle in some IDPs. I don't mind doing it, but I feel like this year, more than most years, I'm fading them.
Yeah.
I want to see what's there late.
Yep.
I'm not really interested in overdraft. I'll take the shots on these
Fan
juniors that are dropping.
Yeah.
The
Jalen Wrights. I'm trying to think of guys from last year, but yeah, guys this year.
Bucky Irvin,
Puku Nakuu. You said it right. Kyle Bellefeuil goes Walter Nolan here, defensive lineman for Arizona at the 409, and then now Tripp is on the clock at the 410. Let me see if anybody has talked here real quick about their selections.
Josh is upset with me. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah, it's okay. Josh will get over it.
Yeah.
Josh will get over it.
You're in Mexico, bro.
Yeah, you're not here.
Man,
you do your thing. Let's see. Harms basically says Baltimore doesn't seem concerned about Green's off the field history, and neither is Eric. So good for you, Eric. Joey the Tooth. Stewart is a freak athlete with size that can't be taught. His sack production doesn't tell the whole story as he was racking up pressures in college. Hendrickson's contract is still in limbo. Sam Hubbard retired. Joseph Osai may be de facto edge one. Miles Murphy is not very good. So there you go. There's some talk there. Kenneth Grant goes defensive lineman for Miami at the 410, and I am back on the clock here at the 411. So, Adam, do you have any thoughts about any of this? Anything you want to run by? Oh, I know.
What do you think about this board? I mean, this board's looking. Are you excited at this point in the draft at the 411?
I am, because a guy like Devin Neal is still available at the 411.
That's pretty good.
I'm fantastic. A guy like Devin Neal who has, I think, 3,000-yard rushing. Wow, that's tough.
It's tough. It's late.
Rushing seasons at Kansas. I love Devin Neal. I love a lot of these I'm a dart throw running back guy. I love just kind of throwing these darts here late in this draft and just seeing if any of these guys pan out.
And it's not a scary room.
No,
Al Kamara is about to be 30. Maybe he is 30.
Kendra Miller, the whole coaching staff was pretty pissed off at last year.
And he wasn't that impressive when we got to see him anyway.
No. And, that's kind of my thought, too, with running back. It's kind of why I traded Corum in the last week or so. If you don't show something your rookie season, even if you only get 30 carries, if in those 30 carries you don't show some type of pop.
Take one to the house once.
Yes, if you don't do something, I'm pretty much over it.
Yep, we're going to see the next one, if the next one does.
Absolutely.
It's behind you. You're done, bro.
And then if not, you're gone.
Yep.
You're just going to be relegated to just being a backup at that point. So 4 pretty good rounds. Jalen Milroe goes here at the 412 to Jake.
How high are you willing to take Milroe in Superflex? Because we were at the he was available there for me in that league that we're in together, Unreal Tournament. At the 309.
That's too late.
Should have taken it.
That's too late.
Yeah.
Milroe, somebody was saying the other day that they think Milroe was maybe the best rushing quarterback that they had ever seen.
I saw
better than Lamar. I don't remember.
High praise.
Yeah. Milroe has that ability, and there's not a ton of people in front of him. The quarterbacks there are not anything scary.
It's Darnold, and it's
locked.
And Darnold's going to be out of there probably. And we'll see. It could go. The regular season could go very well for him, and they
maybe
lock him up. I don't know.
Yeah, but we're officially to growth season in this draft. There's we've drafted a lot of the relevant linebackers, defensive linemen. Now there are still some names. Some guys on the board we'll kind of go through right here at the top of the 5th. You still got Ollie Gordon, DJ Giddens, a guy that I was hype on Giddens until he just faded, and then now he's just going to be a backup to JT. I'm not super hype on. Damian Martinez, another guy that I thought would get some pretty good draft capital, continued to fall. Trevor Etienne, kind of interested in him because I'm not a huge Raheem Blackshear guy. I don't think that Raheem Blackshear, that's not it. Chuba Hubbard, sorry. I don't even know if Raheem Blackshear's still there.
Maybe he might be on it. But you got Jonathan Brooks there who...
can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with him. Jordan James fell a little farther than I wanted him to. Woody Marks, another guy that was everybody's little draft sleeper.
Kind of like him, though.
He's interesting.
I mean, it's Joe Mixon's older, and He'll have a shot at the RB2, I would think, right?
Pretty quickly.
Yep.
Rashard Smith, another guy to kind of put a pin in. Isaiah Pacheco kind of survived the draft a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Rashard Smith was a really deep draft pick. He was drafted 228th overall. So I can't do that quick math, but that's deep enough to be like a 6th round pick, I believe. That's really, really deep. All right, so what have I missed here? So at the top of the 5th, I like this pick. Mike goes JT Tuimoloau, a defensive lineman there for the Indianapolis Colts. That's going to be a guy that Josh is going to really like.
I think so too, man. And after digging in a little more to him, 6.5 sacks in the playoffs.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And then, I mean, you know, 5-star recruit.
Now, the playoffs were long. How many games did he probably play? Probably 3.
3 or 4, but
Yeah,
still, you know.
that's solid.
I mean, it was like a sack a game
When it counted. Against good teams.
Yep.
Yeah, I think JT's going to be a nice little 5th rounder, or maybe even the click of a price of a mouse click.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
whatever you
I
say.
think-
We need to get a T-shirt that says that.
Yeah, it's a Johnny the Greek original right there.
There you go.
It cost the click of a mouse. No, it's not. That's not.
Yeah,
Sorry, Johnny.
we butchered it for you, John.
Something like that. Though. You guys get it.
Yeah, tough.
But yeah, I think that he's going to be undrafted a lot, right? Like that's what I'm looking to do. Like instead of spending a 3rd
Those are the
round
guys
pick
I
on
want.
I'm going to plant my flag on this guy. Let me get this guy.
I think JT
free.
had, aside from the 6 sacks, I think he had 8 in the season, I believe. Anyways, that could be completely wrong. Don't take.
But that
me.
just feels like a good fit there. And like, and
nobody there.
I like him along that line. Like I just like him, you know, next to Latu, next to DeForest Buckner.
Yeah.
And then Kwity Paye, you know, he can be up and down, but he's probably gonna be out of there after this year just because of contract stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a great landing spot and also like really good capital, you know, 2nd round, like early 2nd round.
That's solid.
Good stuff.
Way higher than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah. No, I think this is fair for him, like going in the 5th round, and then, but I think he'll be available in on waivers for most folks
in normie leagues.
Yeah.
So then Aron goes Chris Paul, linebacker for the Los Angeles Rams there at the 502. Chris Paul was a 5th round selection there for the Rams out of, where did he play? Is it Illinois? No, Mississippi. Chris Paul, I don't know. We'll see. Put a pin in it. Adam, the 503, your last pick of this draft.
I'm just going to keep going offense here.
I love it.
I'm going Pat Bryant.
Who also had really high draft capital, wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, selected at pick 74. Really not that muddy of a...
It's like, you know, where Cedric Tillman was drafted. So it could take a year or two before we see him. But I mean, it's you know, Cortland Sutton,
who knows?
Vele,
Marvin Mims,
right? So I mean, I think it's pretty likely that we see him get an opportunity at some point. So hopefully he can, you know, make the most of it, and taking him here at 503, like, yes, I'm fine with that.
Absolutely.
I was also thinking about the guy from Detroit, Mr. Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla. He
He's
got some high
interesting.
draft capital, a lot higher than I thought he would.
Right. He's someone that kind of like showed up on the radar, I think, after the draft.
Because again, it's patience with a guy like Tesla. You know, they did pick up the 5th-year option on Jameson. I believe they did.
But it feels like
Could be a little trade situation.
yeah.
You know,
And I've heard that stuff, you know, too.
I don't think Jameson is the type of guy that Detroit really wants to pay.
Right.
Amon-Ra looks solid. You know, Laporta's great, but give it a season or so. Tesla could be a nice little discount.
They want to pay Jameson, but they don't want. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
for
just
sure.
like it's
We'd rather
too much of
not.
a risk. You know,
Yeah.
you've done some dumb things early on, and you're not. I mean, you're good, but
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
that good to put up with it.
For sure. Now, I love the Pat Bryant selection. Joshy then takes Woody Marks at the 504. Rashard Smith there goes at the 505 to Jeff. And then Professor IDP takes Tyler Shug. I don't even know how to say his last name, really.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I'm not a fan. I'm pretty...
Definitely not one QB.
Yeah, definitely
Not interested in drafting really any like
not interested in
outside of
zero
the-
QB.
outside of like the top 2. I mean, but I won't ever draft them because
Yeah.
like if they're gonna go in the 3rd and 4th, like no chance am I
Yeah.
gonna take them.
This is really interesting. So now a huge run of offense goes. Harms goes Torrey Horton, wide receiver for Seattle. Then Joey the Tooth goes Alec A.O. Maynor, wide receiver for Tennessee. And then we see Kyle Bellefeuil take Danny Stutzman, linebacker for New Orleans at the 509. So we got 3 picks left. Danny Stutzman, you interested in the 5th?
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's a guy that had a really good tackle rate. I like it. He's like got some swagginess to him. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially for a white boy.
Swaggy boy.
Yeah, his team picture for his college team, he has like dreadlocks. Yeah. So he is a white guy.
Pretty awesome.
It's interesting. And I do kind of want that in a linebacker, a guy that has that type of weirdness to him.
That type of drip. Is it called drip?
Sure, I think so. I think they're still calling it
when you're that weird. Okay, so we're here on the clock with Tripp at
also
the 5'10".
With him, like, you know, he was a 4th round pick, but still that was like, as far as linebackers go, that was still like linebacker like
4,
6 or 7. I think maybe.
Okay. But
maybe he might have been in that. I think 4 was Nick Martin.
Yeah, that's right.
He would have been in that 5 to 7 range, I think.
Yep. So then Dynasty Tripp goes Cody Simon, linebacker for Arizona at 5'10". So
he'll have some opportunity potentially.
He will have opportunity.
It's right now it's Akeem Davis Gaither as linebacker 1, which is insane.
Yeah.
And then you got Mac Wilson behind him. So yeah, I mean, I like Simon quite a bit too. I guess as much as I could for the linebackers.
As much as you could.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot to choose from outside of the top, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, opportunity, like he should get it at some point, maybe this year.
I love that. Okay, Adam, I'm going to take a pick for you because I feel like we just need to say this guy's name. I'm not going offense. I would probably go offense, but let's go Jahdae Barron at the 5'11". I just love that dude. I think that you're exactly right. I think you could plug this guy into the slot there in Denver. You know, leave your boy Pat Surtain out wide and let Jahdae Barron kind of rack up some tackles. So if we're going to draft a corner, I know he's actually a defensive back here in Sleeper, but in a lot of our leagues that me and Adam are in, Barron is going to be actually listed as a corner, and I probably like him a little bit better in that situation. So again, not a guy who's going to be an absolute smash, but I don't know. I just kind of like the way he plays.
That's a great pick. I'm a little upset at myself that I wasn't thinking because I'm looking at who's out there. Malachi Starks is still out there.
Yep.
Huh?
I know.
You know?
Xavier Watts still out there as well.
But Malachi Starks,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I get that he's there with Kyle Hamilton. I think people are worried about the Kyle Hamilton thing, you know?
I'm the opposite. I'm worried about it if I'm Kyle Hamilton.
That's really what it is. That's really what and that's everyone loves Kyle Hamilton. Now everyone likes Kyle Hamilton so much that they're hating on Malachi Starks. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't want him. Turned. They don't want him to be a thing. So they're defensive and you know they're letting him slide. They're gonna let him go undrafted, folks.
Personally.
Come on.
What are we doing?
Come on.
What are we doing?
K-Ham's not that great. All right. Not that good.
You want to lower him in the ranks while we're on here? Do it live.
I'm gonna put Starks.
Do it live. We need that one. We need that drop, Josh.
We do need that.
Please come back. Okay, so to end out the draft, Jake Kohlhagen does draft DJ Giddens here at the 5'12". So pretty good draft. We've done a pretty good job.
No Malachi Starks.
That
feels like an oversight by the group.
Yeah, that feels like
he should have been drafted at least.
That feels like that was probably on us.
That was a message to me, I think.
A lot of linebackers. A lot of what if defensive linemen taken.
Yeah. I feel like he should have probably been early 5th.
Okay.
That's really the only one. I think Jahdae Barron, beautiful pick there in the 5th. I mean, they should be around the same, I think.
Favorite pick of the draft? Look through. I'm going to give you my favorite pick. I hate that it's going to be yours, but Harold Fannin at the 403 is that's criminal. That is absolutely criminal. And then let's go. I'm gonna pick an IDP pick that I like also. I really loved, Guy Williams at 211. Who picked that? Your boy. Let's see here.
I don't hate it. It's fine.
JT at the 501 is probably my favorite IDP pick. I really like that from Woellert. If I've got to take a defensive lineman in the 5th and kind of JT just feels like he could end up being like a DL2 before too much longer. So what do you think, Addy? Give me an offensive pick that you like and give me an IDP pick that you like.
Okay, offensive pick. I liked Josh getting Terrence Ferguson there.
Okay.
304. I thought that was nice.
Good value. Before Harold Fannin. It's kind of crazy.
That's how it's going.
Kind of crazy
I've
to
been
me.
seeing that it's been, he got the capital.
In tight end premium.
I don't think this is tight end premium.
Okay.
But I don't really see those. I don't
Very
think-
similar.
It's just the capital. That's really all people are looking at, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still taking Fannin.
Ferguson got the capital, but Fannin had the production.
And actually, I ended up taking Ferguson in Unreal just because I wanted to diversify a little bit and have some other. I've taken Fannin twice now, and
Congratulations for having picks on Unreal. I don't feel like I've made any.
I just had two. I had the 208. I took Cam Skattebo, and I had the 308 and took Terrence Ferguson.
Skattebo is going to be a fun ride. I kind of want to take that ride.
Yeah, it's like I feel like that was my only shot to get him. So I wanted a piece.
I wanted to look at this too. Harold Fannin, his second year at Bowling Green, 44 receptions, 623 yards, 6 touchdowns. Great production. Also rushed the ball 14 times for 41 yards. He had 4 rushing touchdowns his freshman season at Bowling Green on 10 carries.
He's a football player, man.
That's awesome. But yeah, last year, 117 receptions, 1,555 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, Adam. 5 rounds. We did it.
Good time.
It is a little gross this year. I will say there are some times where you kind of want to get out. There's some times where late in the 3rd, 4th round, 5th round, you would just rather have a Blake Cashman. You would just rather trade for some of these guys that we've talked about. But there are going to be some bright spots. We're going to do this again in a year. We'll do a redraft of the 2025 class, and there's going to be some Teslas, and there's going to be some Woody Marks that work out, and there's going to be some James Pearces that highlight, and there's going to be some Malachi Starks that make us feel pretty bad that we completely left him undrafted.
Yep. It's the best, man. I love doing this. I love this time of year.
The most important day, though, is maybe the day after your draft, or maybe the hour after your draft. Get in the waivers, see who wasn't drafted, and see who you can get for absolutely free.
Yes.
And then burn a little fab.
Yeah, and get on Twitters, follow all of us. We'll be pretty active the next few weeks with everything. I've been tweeting a little bit. I'm not the biggest tweeter anymore.
Yeah.
Twitter is terrible.
I can't log in anymore.
It's a bad place. It's a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make me feel great about myself. So I try and
get in and get out. Yep. Let's just put this out there for people. And then I'm going to go play golf.
Share what I wanted to write. Exactly.
Sure.
It's just,
golf
you
season.
got to log out, folks. It's not good for the mentals.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
Get out of there, guys.
Yep. Log out because it's a hellhole.
Sure.
But from Adam, from Bobby, from the IDP show, from Josh in Mexico, we're thankful that you were here tonight for our 5-round rookie mock. I don't know when we'll be back. I'm sure there'll be an IDP after show. I'm sure Josh will be back, and we'll probably be talking maybe XFL rookie draft.
I think so.
Maybe that'll be the next one, breaking down who we get.
That also may be coming in like an article. I think that's how we've been doing it the last few years. I don't know if that'll be a thing. Maybe, but we'll probably break down the RSO league and everything. And
he'll probably have Jeanty. I'll probably have Hunter.
Yep. And as of right now, we're still going to go with Jeanty, but it's tough.
It is tough. There's a lot of drip with Hunter that you don't want to miss out on, but then you just go back and watch that Jeanty tape.
Yeah.
And it's hard to look away from.
I'll just take this guy.
Yeah, Jeanty's going to be all right.
Little human bowling ball. I'll take him.
Absolutely. Well, from Bowling Green, this has been the IDP show. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys, and we'll catch you soon. See you later.